This is UARK 19CS1255, and in this video we'll be seeing our sixth experiment, that is Prim's algorithm, as part of our DAA lab. So this algorithm requires a graph as an input. The graph should be an undirected graph, and it should be a weighted graph. That means that each edge in the graph should contain some weight, and each edge should not contain any direction. I mean, none of the edges should hold any direction on them. So those are the two constraints for the input graph for this algorithm. And using Prim's algorithm, we usually build a minimum spanning tree that contains all the vertices which are initially present in the graph. So we are taking the input as number of vertices. The first statement in the main function, we are using scanner class to get the input, and this is nothing but getting the input from the user, number of vertices and number of edges. So here the number of edges are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 and 9. So there are 9 edges for this particular graph. So that also will be an input for this algorithm, and uh, after that the user will be asked to enter the vertices row wise. Here the vertices are 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So those are the vertices of the graph, and those are also asked by the user, asked to the user. And next we have, after that we are storing those vertices in a array called vertices, and after that we have a two-dimensional adjacency matrix to represent the graph. So usually graphs are represented using an adjacency matrix, right? So two-dimensional array is nothing but that one, and using this array we represent the graph. And after that I have another array with 3 rows and columns as number of edges. So we'll see later why this array and how where to use this array. And next we have next we are taking the input for this adjacency matrix. So this is nothing but the input, and here there are two state we are uh, we are filling two entries at a time, so I and J and Gn1. So in this, for this graph, for example, here we can see, for example, 0 to 1 there is a edge and weight is 28. So assume I is 0 and J is 1, and 0 1 equals to 28. And since this is an undirected graph, 0 to 1 is also equal to 1 and 0. So two-dimensional array of 1, so J is 1 and I is 0, should also be set to 28. So that's the procedure, how this two-dimensional adjacency matrix is filled. I mean the entries are filled. And here we can see, I am using this the array, the 3 rows we have defined above, right? Just a minute. Here we can see there is an array here, is here, and it has 3 rows and columns as number of edges. And that array is used to, in the first row we will be having the weights, and in the second row we'll be having the vertices. For example, 28 is in the first row, and in the second row we'll be having the corresponding vertices, that is 0 and 1. For example, if we have 16 in the first row, we'll be having in the corresponding next row we'll be having uh, 1 and 2 as a immediate corresponding vertices for that particular weight. So I've taken that one. So if two-dimensional array of I and J is not equals to 0, that means if any weight is there, that means if that is not equals to 0, then array of, we are storing that weight in the 0 is 0 first row. So all the weights will be set in the first row, and in the second row we have I into 10 plus J. That means if you have uh, 5 and 2, then we cannot store in an integer array like 5 comma 2, or as a pair of a set of 5 and 2, like that we cannot store, right? So we just have to store 5 and 2 in the same just like the integer value. So that's what I've done. 5 into 10 becomes 50, and plus 2 52. So that will be used later for the further processing. So in the next row we'll be having 5 and 2 as the corresponding vertices. Now that is all the take that is all nothing but the taking input from the user. Now next we have sorting the 2D array. Now the thing is, the array which we have set here has to be sorted in the ascending order. Here comes our greedy approach. That's what we are doing here. We are sorting the that array based on the weights. In the first row we have weights, right? So based on that weights we are sorting the complete array. So since this is a two-dimensional array, we have to swap the elements in the first row as well as in the second row. So the corresponding vertices also have to be swapped, right? So, for that purpose I have done the swapping twice. I mean, the first one is for first row and second one is for second row. Next, I have a print statement called MST and cost. So we'll see it later. And after that, here we are retrieving the data that we have stored in the second row in that 2D array, right? So A equals to array of 1 and 0. So here 1 indicates the row, that means uh, the weights are stored in the first row, and the word pair versus pair is stored in the second row, right? So second row is represented by 1 and column is 0. So here first, uh, this means that this is the first column and second row, and first digit equals to a modulus 10. So for example, if you store 5 and 4, so 5 divided by 10 will be sorry, 54 divided by 10 will be 5.4, and since this is an integer data, it holds only 5. So the first digit will be 5, and A is 54, right? So if you do a remainder operation, that is modulus operation, then you will get 4 as a second digit. So first digit will be 5 and second digit will be 4. So in this way we can retrieve our data stored in the second row of the array. So here we can see int recent vertex and starting vertex. So for initially we'll consider the edge 0 and 5 because it has the minimum cost. Here we can see the table on the right hand side is nothing like the 2D array which we are talking right now. So first, the edge to be included is 0 and 5, and that one because the cost for that edge is minimum. So if you sort this array, automatically the minimum weight would come first, right? So based on that logic, I have said like int uh, recent vertex. I mean, obviously the starting vertex would be the first digit, that is 0, and the recent vertex, that means uh, the the node which is connected next to 0, that is 0 and 5, right? So the recent vertex would be 5. So and we are giving a print statement called 0 plus an arrow and 5 and the particular weight 0 0. So this is the mandatory statement, so we didn't have any loop for this. This is just a print, just like without any loop we are just printing the uh, first record in the array, and next we are using a loop to do the remaining process. Now this is an infinite loop, and if the we have to run this loop until we get all the vertices included in the output graph. So if count equal not equals to number of vertices, we have count that is set to 2 because already already two vertices of the graph are printed. So here we can see first digit and second digit, those are nothing but the vertices, right? So two vertices of the graph are already printed, and remaining that should be, for example, consider this, if there are 7 vertices and already 2 are printed, then it should there should be 5 vertices left. So number of vertices would be 7, and if you each time we include a vertex in the tree, we would increment count. So once it gets greater than number of vertices or equals, if it is greater than or equal to number of vertices, then it means that all the vertices have been included in the tree and the process is now finished. So this is in this loop we have initialized first and second with -1, and we are taking that record in a particular variable called div, and if the division with 10, div divided by 10 is less than 1, that means that we have taken like if 25 in the first row, then in the corresponding below we will be having 554, like 5 and 4, right? So for example, if we have 0 and 1, we cannot have 0 1, right? So only 1 would be there. So 1 by 10 would be less than 1, obviously, right? So for that case, uh, we have first digit as 0 and second digit as array of I of 1, that is nothing but 1. So for that special situations, we have done like this: if divided by 10 less than 0, then, or else if divided by 10 greater than 0, that is for normal vertices, that means 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, like that. So So this is nothing but retrieving the data that we have stored in the second row, right? So and after that I have another if so here we have four conditions, totally four conditions. So we'll come from the first one. If first one, I mean the first what vertex is equals to the recent vertex. I mean, for example, we have included a edge between 0 and 5, and again we have 2 and 3. If the first, that means 2, is equals to recent vertex. Recent vertex is 5. Since 2 is not equal to 5, we're not going to include this edge now as of now. So we'll move on to the next set. So next set. So here we have 5 here, but not that is not the first digit, it is second digit. So I have another condition for that, else if second equal to recent vertex and array 2 of I. Array 2 means it's the third row, and is not equal to -1. We left the third row blank, right? So in order, so it means that the third row would be initialized with all zeros, and we here, if it is not equal to -1, the condition will be true. That means that we'll be including this 4 and 5, like here we can see the recent vertex is 5 and first is 4. So now we are including an edge. It's like it's like we can assume like 5, the edge has been included from 5 to 4, and the corresponding weight will be printed here. And after that, recent vertex, we are updating the recent vertex, and we are giving -1 to the third row of that particular array. That means that this edge has already been included in the next iterations. If it comes, if this comes once again, then this condition would become false, and we'll not going to we will not be including this edge. So that's the reason. And so here we have included an edge to 5, that is 4. So there is another possibility that we can include an edge to 0 also, right? So 0, it is also a free node, and it is also a free vertex, that means 4. So for that one, I have another two conditions, that starting vertex equal to first or starting vertex equal to second, I mean the first digit or second digit. For that I have another two conditions. So uh, meanwhile we'll be calculating the sum of the weights. I mean, if you include an edge to the tree, then we'll be adding the weight to a some particular sum variable which is initially set to 0, and by that way we'll be calculating the total weight of the minimum cost spanning tree. And once all the vertices are included in the output tree, then we'll print the sum as minimum cost of the spanning tree, and we'll break the infinite loop. So now once we'll check the uh, once we check the program by running this. Yes, this number of first let us go to a particular graph once. Yes, for example, consider the graph on the right hand side. So it has 7 vertices, and the number of edges in the graph are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8, right? 1 2 3 4 5 9. So 9 edges are there. Now the vertices, that is row 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, those are the vertices of the graph. And here we are asking, they're asking to enter the weight on the edge 0 to 1, that is 28. 0 to 2 we don't have an edge, so simply 0. And 0 to 3 we don't have an edge. 0 to 4 we don't have an edge. 0 to 5, yes, there is an edge, and weight is 10. So in that way we need to fill this. And 0 to 6 we don't have an edge. 1 to 2 we have an edge, and that is 16. 1 to 3 we don't have an edge. 1 to 4 we don't have. 1 to 5 we don't have. 1 to 6, yes, there is an edge, and weight is 14. 2 to 3, yes, there is an edge, this is 12, weight. And 2 to 4 we don't have an edge. 2 to 5 we don't have any edge. 2 to 6 we don't have any edge. 3 to 4, yes, there is an edge, and weight is 22. 3 to 5 there is no direct edge, but there is path. 3 to 6, yes, there is edge, and weight is 18. 4 to 5, yes, that is 25. 4 to 6 is 24. 5 to 6 there is no edge. Yes, after that, after giving this input for to this algorithm, this has written that the minimum cost of the spanning tree is 99, and these are the nodes that the output tree must contain in order to get the minimum cost is 99. So we can check with the for example, 0, consider 0 as the root node, and 5, and next we'll be having another node 4 connected to 5, and next we'll be having another node 3 connected to 4, next we'll be having another node 2 connected to 3, next we'll be having another node 1 connected to 2, next we'll be having another node 6 connected to 1. So that is nothing but the graph which is present at f. This f is the output graph. So we can see 10, 25, 22, 12, 16, 14, 10, 25, 22, 12, 16 and 14, and the total cost of this minimum spanning tree is 99. So I hope the output for this program is correct. Thank you. Thanks for watching.